Decision 2014 coverage now. The latest Marquette University Law School poll shows Governor Scott Walker leading challenger Mary Burke among likely voters. Walker's support grew to 50%. Burke fell to 43%. They were tied in that same poll released 2 weeks ago.
And among registered voters, it's much closer. Walker leads Burke by just 1 point, 46 to 45. And among likely independent voters, and this is interesting, Walker leads 52% to 37%.
Our Charles Benson is here to break down these numbers. Charles.
And Mike and Carol, we've seen a bunch of polls in recent weeks. Most of them have suggested this race is too close to call. Until today, the new Marquette poll shows a significant shift towards Governor Walker among likely voters. But no one is suggesting it's time to pop the champagne.
Moves to a 7-point advantage among likely voters, but if everyone voted, it would still be an extremely close race.
Marquette law professor Charles Franklin says the poll shows Republicans are more fired up about the election than Democrats. 93% of Republicans say they are certain to vote. 82% of Democrats say they're voting, and 75% of independents. Franklin says this election is looking a lot like the 2012 recall.
Their reported turnout rate right now is almost the same that it was just before the recall. Democrats are actually up a little bit from the recall, but independents are down a little bit in reported turnouts.
Walker's lead among independents is now 52 to 37%. 2 weeks ago, it was 45-42%.
The current poll is much closer to the average over the last 6 polls for independents, but could certainly shift yet again by Election Day.
While the race is dead even among registered voters and Walker has a 7-point lead among likely voters, Franklin says there's one caveat for both sides.
The obvious caveat is turnout, that you see an incredibly tight registered voter race and one that has been narrow throughout the year.
And the Marquette Law poll was pretty accurate, calling the margin of victory for Governor Walker in 2012 and Senator Baldwin and President Obama in 2012. Mike and Carol?
Interesting results. Thank you very much, Charles.
The Marquette poll also shows Republican Brad Schimmel leading Democrat Susan Happ in the race for Attorney General, 43 to 39%. That is among likely voters.